Welcome everybody. We're in a little bit different spot today. We're down below from where we're cutting on that bigger laying down Doug fir with the 500i and the two older saws, the Scott Rod P51 and the Super Pro 81. These two saws right here are what I would consider in the same CC class, and they're like 50 years apart. And look at the difference in them. The Super Pro 81 is actually smaller. It's not lighter, but it's smaller in stature in the chassis. And this one, the 500i, has like a governor on it. Rev limiter, whatever you want to call it. But the Super Pro 81, now that saw they built with, they sent out with single jet carburetors and dual jet carburetors, high and low, and one without high and low that was considered governed. And the reason they did that on the Super Pro 81 is because the Super Pro 81 doesn't act like a whole lot. There are other saws out there that are like that, but the Super Pro 81, for sure, when you put a saw, a regular saw that's carbureted in the wood from this day and age, if you put it in the wood and you have it running too lean, in the cut, it will tell you that. The Super Pro 81 won't. The Super Pro 81 will rev until you burn it up. It won't. It just keeps building power with the fuel that you give it, whether it's too much or too little. It will still build power. It'll rev. I don't know what it is about it. It's like an ungoverned coil or whatever, non-limited coil. It'll wind right up there and it'll just keep revving. Even in the wood, it won't, and like I said, until you burn it up. To where like the 500i, it has like, it's got a rev limiter on it. It'll only go so high before it starts to dump extra fuel to it to keep it from burning up. A safety feature, right? But the Super Pro 81, with the dual jet carburetor, it don't have that. If you lean it out, it'll just, you won't even notice it until it burns up. You'll think it's running great till it ain't. Right? Anyway, enough on the history lesson. I'm following a Doug fir today, and it's a little bit different. A lot of times I'll have some time, and so because they're a different type of a tree, like they're not leaning hard or whatever, to stop and talk about it. This tree on the stump, I'm not going to have time to stop and explain things that are going on, so I'm going to explain it right here. It's got a pretty good lean to it, but it's going into, I got to put it through some crowns of trees. So I don't have time on the back cut. I don't have time on the face cut or the back cut. And I'm going to make a wider face cut. I'm going to make the Humboldt, and then I'm going to make the top cut as well, a traditional, smaller traditional as well, to give it that wide mouth. Right? So it doesn't have a chance to close up, because right about the time that a normal Humboldt would or traditional would close up is when it's going to hit the treetops, and I don't want it to hang up. I want it to keep momentum. Once it's going, I'm just going to stay right on the stump, and so it can keep its momentum, and I can keep cutting and try to chase it off the stump. Okay? I hope that makes sense. And I hope it makes sense. Hope this makes sense and goes together with what happens on the stump. Okay? So, welcome to all the new subscribers, and thanks everybody for watching the video. I appreciate it. Appreciate you a ton of following us along on our journey here on YouTube and through life. All right. We'll see you on the stump. Okay, here's our tree. one that the 500's leaned up against. It goes up there. I'll show you a couple different angles. Hopefully you can see. And we'll go over here and we'll look at it from the side. Okay. I don't have a whole lot of room to work because that's it right there. This one right, this tree right here. Okay. So there isn't much room. So I'm going to follow it from the other one and that one. Okay. Puts me at a weird angle. So we're going to go straight up this cedar tree. Okay. This cedar tree, we're going to go straight up it and check out the lean of that tree. Where that crosses right here, where that crosses and this top right there, this is the top of the tree that we're falling. Okay. Now I'll go over here and I'll stand right in front of it. Okay, I'm right in front of the tree, right where we want to go through. Okay, these two cedars down here, we're going to go to the left of those cedars. Okay, we can't go through this hole right here because this tree right here goes up and leans into that. So that would block us from going through that. Okay, so I got to push it through all the canopies of, I have to push it through this canopy, and this canopy, and a smaller one further down the line. Okay, so that's why I'm going to stay on the stump and keep the momentum going and do a different type of a face cut. Okay, there's the tree right there. Now this is compression and tension here. Been a while since I had one hang up like that. That's okay. Hopefully you can see some of that happening.